meeting. Do I have a motion to approve it?
So move.
I would second it.
Moved and
You know what?
seconded.
I just noticed this. It
March
should be
11th?
March 11th.
March 11th.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Change it.
It's right on the agenda.
Yeah,
All in favor? Say aye. Old business. 264. You got nothing on that one?
I don't know.
Kevin, did you want that on there? I mean, we're gonna keep it on the agenda
Yeah.
till we get it
Yeah.
finalized,
Yeah.
but is there any new things you have to add?
No, there was nothing that was said or anything about 264. You know, we just got the bill for the, I don't know, engineering services, but that was all.
Okay. So you'll see it on there till we get things finalized on that.
Okay, we'll move on to 267th Street. The
Where
bids,
do we send the bids? Where do they get the bids? I got asked that here a couple times.
Well, here's a copy of the bid that was in the Brandon Challenger on the 18th. They're putting it in the Challenger. This is from DGR, put the bid in for the structure. And then they're gonna run it the 25th. And I think they were putting it in the Argus Leader,
Yeah, but
so
do they go to DGR? Is
Yeah.
that what they're going to?
I think so. I
Okay,
guess
so that's what.
I think so.
That's what I told them. That's
I'll
what I
look
thought.
in
I
here.
said,
It should
contact
say
that's
in
what I
here
said too.
Okay, because I've had some inquiries, but
about that. Okay.
I just didn't,
So I'm trying to see when they're
that's
due.
all I have about that there.
Before 2:00 on April 2nd is when they're due. And will be received by the project engineer at the DGR engineering office, and it's got their address, so if anybody wants to see it, but it'll be in tomorrow's Brandon Journal, and then I think it's already been in the
Do you have
Argus.
it on your- Do you have it on the website? We can throw the bid up there.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I guess what, I'm not sure what bid we're talking about anyway.
The
26, the bridge. So
Oh,
maybe, Pam, why don't you get it to Virgil and you could also put it on our website, the bid,
Yeah, I could do that. I'll give it to you. Okay,
the bid notice. Yeah.
great, so they can,
Then you can take the other ones down.
Nothing else, we'll go to 3 bids, number 3. Now, we got several bids and they were all ranged all over the place. But low bid was Petri Tree Service LLC out of Avon, South Dakota. Bid of $83,900. Now, I called around, I called 3 different places that he's done work for, and they've all said he's done excellent work. Good at cleaning up behind them. They hire from doing it and stuff at their house, so.
Yeah, and I verified that the bid was for everything that was on the map that we wanted, and it does include the chemical application that we wanted.
Rich, do you have a copy of that bid?
Yes, I do.
Oh, can I
Right
get,
here.
can I get it
Yep, you
and
can have
make
them
a
all.
copy and I can get it back to you, but I'd just like to, I don't even know how to spell their name.
But we haven't.
Oh,
Any
you have
discussion
to.
on that?
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Well, you'd have to make a motion to accept the bid if you want it done.
If we want it done.
I'd make a motion to accept the bid as presented.
I second.
we can pick and choose where we wanna have them cut trees
We can cut it up, we can stop them.
or try to keep under that 75,000 budget. That'd be the only restriction I'd like to put on. Some of the trees on Maple, you know, they're gonna redo their own, let's spend money getting them cut.
So which he does, he has it broke down for every spot, so. As long as it stays in that range, you know, for what he is cutting.
Except to
But-
bid that.
Yeah, so it'd be up to the 83,900 with, so it's either, are you only gonna do 75,000 or is it spend up to 83,900? Visiting with him about some of the trees that maybe you're choosing to not have cut down, so it's gonna be lower. Because I know there are some residents that have asked to have certain trees not touched, and we're talking about maybe doing that with an indemnification agreement, which would then reduce the bid. So, I don't know if you're wanting to limit it at 75 or do the spend up to 83.9 with the idea that it would be reduced to some degree related to further discussion with him as to certain trees to not cut down, which would reduce the bid. So right now, the motion is for the 83.9 for everything.
That 75 was just something I threw out. That was just a guess.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if I'd go with the 83, but
We can have a
about
discussion.
8,000.
Like Mark said, we can discuss not to double up on something that's gonna get done.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's always leaving.
Get to spend money when you don't
Yeah.
have to.
Yep. We can have that discussion with him.
Okay, had a motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I'm gonna get hold of him and we'll get a contract signed. Do you wanna reach out to him? When you reach out to him, can you ask him if he already has a contract? Or if he wants to sign it?
Just I will. Okay. Item 4, access road resolution permit.
So this is the item that we talked about last time. I made some changes to the drafts. I gave those to the supervisors. I don't know if you've had enough time to look at them or not. There are copies up front and in the packet. But what you have before you is a resolution to adopt an access road permitting process, the access permit application on there. And I'll just note a couple things for the resolution. It references how, there are two types of access roads. One would be an access road to a section line road that wouldn't have all these extra add-ons. One might be an access road to gravel that maybe you have some type of extra fee that you pay. One might be onto a development road that's already paved or paying extra fees. So the resolution provides the permit application fee is $75, which is what we've already set it at for that. And then if you're gonna do an access road, that you have to follow the general permit provisions. So that's what the resolution is. The application requires the person to specify what they're asking for a permit, the utility permit, road approach, culvert. And it specifies on there, if it's an access road, you have to follow the general provisions and you have to have the approval form that's separately required for each access road permit. Then the next page is the Split Rock Township permit approval and agreement for an access road to development. So that's a specific access agreement to a development road. And that draft before you would have to be signed by a supervisor, signed by the resident who's applying. It has 4 provisions. 1, that they have to follow the general provisions, which we'll talk about in a second. 2, there's a line for 3 types of fees that have to be paid. 1 is an initial fee, and it has to be paid by a certain time. The second is a yearly annual fee to be paid by the resident that would be placed in whatever development. So somebody wants access to Pine Lake Hills development, a yearly fee for the resident to pay for the maintenance and repair to the township road to which the access is granted. That amount would be set yearly by the supervisors at their annual meeting and consistent with the front footage assessment amounts for the development to which the access road connects. So every year that amount would be there, and then the supervisors to say when that has to be paid. And the third type of fee for the access road permit that the supervisors could impose on the form agreement would be a lump sum fee, so that in the event that entire development, Pine Lake Hills is redoing all their roads and everybody else is gonna pay $7,000 in order for that person to continue to have the access road permit active, they would also have to pay that amount that the supervisors believe is appropriate, like the other people in the development are paying. So there's 3 different types of fees on this form the supervisors could choose to impose to allow the permit. The 3rd section of that provides for the revocation of the permit. It states that if you don't adhere to the general provisions, that we'll talk about in a second, the township can revoke the permit, and it also can revoke the permit anytime the person doesn't pay the annual fee or the lump sum fee as well. And then 4 would be a list of additional terms. So that would have to be before the supervisors, and they would set that amount. Then the resolution adopts general provisions, and I took some of these from the Minnehaha County road access permit that they have, and I modified it. There is just terms of the construction, when it has to get done, if there can be an extension, so all of those types of things. And then there's a section in the general requirements, again, talking about the fee requirements for an access road to development. So again, this is specific to development road that you're letting somebody get access to. And it talks about the 3 different fees: the initial fee, the annual fee, and a lump sum fee. The initial fee, it clearly sets forth what factors the supervisors will look at that are non-exclusive, but for your consideration are 6 different things. The number of the feet on the development road from the access point to Collector Street that's outside of the development. Number 2, the number of feet the property is adjacent to the development road. Number 3, the number of feet that the house faces the development road. Number 4, minimum, maximum, and average that the residents in that development pay for footage assessment fees. 5 is the amount of money the development residents and that person paid already for the improvements of the road, if they did pay anything already. And then number 6 is if that person has been accessing the development road for a number of years without paying into the front footage, whether there should be something else that should be paid by that resident, consistent with what the other residents of development have been paying in order to have that initial access fee set. Then we go to the annual fee, which I already described, the lump sum fee for working out the road. Everybody else is paying that. And then just some maintenance requirements that are set forth, that the person with their access road has to continue to maintain some surfacing, cattle guard, vegetation controls, things like that. And then lastly, on the general guidelines would be an indemnification, defense, and hold harmless that the resident would be agreeing to. So that's what I drafted for the supervisor's consideration. I don't hear any comments about changing them. I don't know if you're ready to further discuss this today, make changes if you want more time. If you're not ready and you want more time, then somebody just needs to say, let's put this to the next meeting. If you're ready to go through with it, and if somebody wants to make a motion to approve the resolution, the application, the approval, and the general provisions, that's fine too. So we can do something tonight, or we can give you more time to look at it. But that's what I drafted.
I'd like to make a motion just to hold on to it for a month or till next meeting, just to read
You
it
don't
over.
need to make a motion, we'll
Okay.
just
Just like to hold on to it till next meeting.
Take
review it and put
Just
it
to
back on the
read
agenda.
it, read it, have it done.
That's fine. So there are a couple copies that I did bring, if any of the residents want them, they're up front. But they're, we'll talk about next one.
Okay. Number 5 is Anderson Access Road Permit amount.
So that really then is a little premature, but you do have before you in the event that you do adopt a access road permitting process, the supervisors would then need to discuss, well, we first need the application that is filled out and sent to the township. But once that application is received, then it would be for the supervisors to decide, okay, well, what are we going to then have in the access road approval? And in the form, right now as it exists, we have the initial fee, a yearly fee, and a lump sum fee. So those are things that you can consider. I presented to you the information that Kevin put together in terms of what feet people around there have, and they are paying into the front footage fee by parcel number. The average front footage assessment that the Hidden Valley residents pay is about $700 a year based on the parcel. Some are paying much higher than that, and some are paying lower than that, but that is the average that Kevin came up with. And then I gave to you the number of feet along the road, the number of feet from the north access to Madison, the collector, from the south access that's being used to the collector. And then I just gave you a note on there that North Oak Ridge is platted. Going past this home, we, the township, maintain only about half of that. There's a turnaround. Most of what the township maintains on North Oak Ridge Road is gravel, but there is some asphalt there too. So those numbers are just things that if you decide you want to grant the access road permit, you can take into consideration in setting, an initial fee, a yearly fee. The lump sum, we wouldn't do that right now, but you could check that and say, well, you're also gonna have to pay it, everybody else has to pay it to keep the access, so. Nothing really need to do on that, because we don't have the access road permit process in place yet, nor do we have the application. I know Mr. Anderson is here. I spoke with him, and he wanted to make sure that the supervisors knew that he did pay, so I'll let him say what he wants to, but that he did pay for a portion of that road to be paved, and that since then he has been using the road with their 2 access points, and he wants to work with the township to continue to be able to use it through, the proper channels. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had said something that he was fine with paying a fair amount for continued access, but he doesn't know what that amount is, you don't know what that amount is, and so you can certainly ask him questions and maybe allow him to say something if you'd like, but that's up to you.
Go ahead, you got it.
Well, what I did was I put 2 access roads in. One probably 15 years ago, maybe more, maybe less. The other one probably 10 years ago. And, when I put these in, I guess you might say I left it up to my contractor to get a permit for it. I didn't do it myself, and whether they did or not, it's just something I knew nothing about. I got no problem paying a permit fee of some sort. I'm just asking to be reasonable in reference to the other people on this road. There are 4 people on this road, and me and Dan Blue, we kind of paid for this ourselves, the 2 of us, the asphalting of this road. And there are 4 people on the road. One guy died that lives on the road. The other one sold his house, and so, you know, we put some money into it. We've done some maintenance on it, which we're not complaining about it. It's just, I'd like to be able to figure this out to where we're okay in this. You know, I didn't try to slide a permit because, you know, I'm doing some remodeling right now, and I told the contractor, I said, make sure you got the permits, whatever they are. I don't want to go through this again. But and it's not a big remodel, so you know. But I've got some pictures if you guys would like to look at them. It's they're kind of hard to see because it was the day we had the snowstorm and I took the pictures.
But that is your private road coming out of there.
Well, yeah, I have a private drive coming out. And the reason we did that, if you go on the other side of my property, there's a road that there are four of us that live in that road. You come out and it's all gravel, just about to Jan Schultz's place, just about. And then there's a couple hundred feet of oil. And we to get that, to be able to oil that road, you've got to get permission from John Soderholm and Andrew Soy and Vern Pearson and myself. And that's probably never going to happen. They don't want to spend the money on it. So you know, I built this road going out the other side. I've lived in this house now 23 or 25 years, and I really can't remember when we did it. I'm thinking 15, 20 years ago, I put that driveway in. And then I got the other one, and I'll even take that one out. That would make my wife real happy because she needs one, and that's it. So.
And I don't know that we had an access permitting process back when you and Dan paid for that road. I don't think that permitting process came up. I don't think we had a formal.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's nothing in the agreement that I saw that granted an access to it. I gotta pull the agreement, but my recollection is that the agreement that you, Dan, one of you came before the supervisors, said, we'd like to pave this road. Supervisors paid for engineering, you guys paid for the asphalt. I don't recall, and that would have been at a township meeting that was public. And I don't recall that there's anything in that agreement about access. So I don't think anybody's sitting here trying to say
I
that
don't
you
know.
should have pulled a permit and didn't pull a permit. So we have a process that, you know, they're trying to maybe memorialize. So I'm still gonna pull that agreement and we'll have that. And the supervisors now have the funds that everybody else has been paying
Now,
since then.
you and I went over this. Dan Blue has got an access fee of $450 approximately.
So,
And
and I
then-
provided, so you can take one of those copies tonight, but yeah, he pays about $400
And then
for 200 feet.
Fuzz, he pays about the same, about $400, $450 for his access. And then the guy in the corner, he's got a corner. So I think his fee is about $650, if I recall. So, you know, I'd like to think that I'm probably in the same bracket as those guys. If I can be charged kind of similar, I'd appreciate it.
So it would be something that you guys would set at a different meeting. If there is, number one, there needs to be resolution. And number two, then you would set the amount. So right now, I know we got a bunch of people in the background. Tonight is not the time to provide input on what amount. And I don't know that the supervisors are gonna take input on what amount number one, I don't know the supervisors. They don't have to take input on whether or not to, what the township residents think about granting an access permit or not. Number two, they don't have to take comment about how much money other people in the room or residents think should be paid for that access fee permit. That's something they set, not a public input discussion item. So tonight, we're not setting that anyway, so I don't, it's up to them if they want to take any more comment on this.
Just to clarify something, that agreement, that you, the supervisors or the township paid for $16,000 of that road. This was the
What
agreement,
was the 450? What did you pay 450 for? 450?
For the, what, the annual fee?
No,
no,
they-
I just, this was provided with that last,
Yeah, she's got the contract.
that agreement.
okay, so I've got.
Just to clarify that.
Yeah, I mean, the
That's
township paid some,
$16,000 of that road,
16,000.
not private,
but I also know that Mr. Anderson and Mr. Blue paid thousands of dollars as well.
Right.
So,
4,000 per the agreement.
yeah,
Well, why would we have an agreement signed without any road assessment between one of the supervisors and two private residents of Hidden Valley with no access given in the agreement? Just because? I mean, you know what I'm asking? This agreement's signed by 3 people. Was it, why did you pay, did they tell you they give you access when you paid that amount?
For what, the asphalt?
Yeah, for this money, no, for this agreement that you signed. You signed and, yeah.
so the agreement speaks for itself. I mean, and whether or not there are no minutes reflecting that I've seen.
Well, I'm not gonna read this whole thing,
Yeah, that's-
No,
but what is this exactly?
that just
agreement
says you're gonna pay for
regarding-
part of the road,
Board, huh?
Yeah, that's when they first got paid.
but that was 4,000, I think. Anything under a certain amount, you and Dan, if the bid came in.
Well, we ended up paying for, Dan and I paid for my portion. Yeah, well, he didn't pay for my portion, but he paid for his portion. And then what we had to do, because the other people that were in on that road, one died, one moved to, sold his home, and it was about 4,000 a person. If I recall, we paid about 16,000, and Dan and I paid all of that. I don't think we got any reimbursement from these guys. What's that?
We paid 19.
We
Yeah,
were talking about that.
But we
But
aren't talking
again,
about,
back to the
so
agreement.
I get it.
Why would a supervisor sign an agreement with someone that doesn't live in Hidden Valley to pay for a road that he doesn't even have a right to access?
So you're talking to supervisors today that were not
No, he
necessarily,
signed it, Mark signed it.
you have two supervisors
That's
today
right,
that
he
weren't
was the
here.
senior supervisor. Well, I'm
And-
just asking, why would they, was that, when you saw that, the access points, you were surprised by it? And I'm just curious, Marv
I
was
thought it
there,
was all the same development.
what's that?
I thought it was
Oh, no
all
one
the same
told you.
development. Oh, no.
I don't know that nobody told him or not. I know that Hidden Valley, you guys did this thing in 5 different phases. That was one area that wasn't part of the phases. I recall that Dan, I don't remember when Mr. Anderson came in, but I recall that Dan said he'd like this road paid too. And he was at a meeting and that agreement was signed. And whatever discussions there were about access, I don't remember. I don't remember if there's anything in the minutes. It doesn't matter because the agreement is what the agreement is at this point.
I'll say something back. I was there, and then when we did it and stuff in there, I went and reviewed all the, front footage and put them on the spreadsheet and stuff in there. I didn't even realize that he was going on this road. It's really hard. Like I said, his front road is the other road. So for Marv to know it, you understand what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
would've thought he
you
would
gotta-
go the other
You
way.
gotta put it in context, back at the time, there was concern around that stretch of road. because nobody had front footage on it, which is when he was upset because the township decided to put 16 grand in. Well, the quote was like for 24 grand. And somehow way after the fact, we find out there's an agreement to a non-Hidden Valley resident that's paying for the road. The agreement only says, you're absolutely right, it says he's gonna pay whatever is short, anything more than the 16 grand. You and Dan Blue are gonna split, that's what the agreement says, but it doesn't say anything about access. And I'm thinking, when did we decide that someone outside our neighborhood could pay a certain amount of money to build a road and get access? It's not in the agreement, so how does that happen? Is that the way it goes? Is that just the way it is, or I'm just curious.
Sorry. Why would somebody chip in and pay on a road that they wouldn't be planning to access though?
Well, so why wasn't it in the agreement?
It's not in the agreement. He paid for a portion of it. It has come to the supervisor's attention that there's not an access road permit. It's not in the agreement, and they're trying to decide what to do with it now. So there could be an argument, it's grandfathered in. There could be an argument that he can't have it. They're gonna have to decide what to do with this. He paid a certain amount to have that road paved. Was that because he didn't want dust on his property? Was it because because it was gravel before? Was that because he was just being nice and trying to get it look nicing and help Dan? Was that because he was assuming he got access to it? We don't have any of that information in there. What we have is he paid for the road. He would like to use that road, and they're considering a permitting process to allow people who cannot be assessed the front footage amount because the statute is written, how the statute is written. They're deciding whether or not they're gonna have that process or not. So that's what they have to figure out.
Can I just make one comment? So obviously if the road would have been gravel, no one would have been really concerned, because he probably wouldn't have wanted access, maybe he would have. But just consider that the average resident paid 10 grand for access back in 2016, 17. So, just keep that in mind. For access.
And we pay, and if you have footage to the road, you pay by a certain formula. And just because he doesn't live on the road, I shouldn't be paying more than he gets to pay when he uses more of the footage, which you brought up, was one way of looking at where you come into Hidden Valley and where you exit Hidden Valley. At least that's using some of that, but I pay a certain amount of formula and have been since it happened. And I have 2 lots, and I bought 2 lots, and I have to go by the law, and I get that. Well, that's about 20 grand for building. And I pay a lot in frontage foot, so what's fair is fair. If someone wants to come into our neighborhood, especially who lives outside, they should pay the same kind of formula I'm paying by. Otherwise, why am I paying? Should I get another access? It's gotta be fair. And they'll take that into consideration.
And I think I think it's very clear that the statute doesn't necessarily promote fairness, right?
Yeah.
So they're just gonna do their best to decide what's fair.
We
They're
appreciate
elected to do it. That's why you elect them, and they're gonna make some decisions
And
eventually.
we'll have a paper trail from now on, we made mistakes in the past, try not to from here on in. So. Okay. Now, we have Travis here tonight. He's gonna talk about slurry. Travis, pardon.
I'm here to talk about slurry, I guess, sort of. I get, really, it's just, I know that people are still displeased, and I don't want that, and I'm not coming to be combative about it or anything. You guys are a customer. There's a lot of people that live in that neighborhood. I always value how people feel about the work we've done and that we do. I still know what the intent of it is and what you got. And I know deep down, I know I can just dig in and keep on fighting about it, but I'm not trying to fight. I don't ever want to fight. I want to make things right by you guys, but I also want to have the slander and the libel stop too.
and I want to move forward. So to me, what I think, I mean, unless you guys can attack me and stuff if you want while I'm here and talk about it to me if you want, but I'm trying to move forward, and what I would like to do is just offer that we'll seal coat the whole neighborhood this summer for free. And we can all move forward. I hope that's what I remember. Originally, it seems like that's what you guys thought you were getting in the first place. So I would do that, and then you'd have a heck of a wear course, because you'd have slurry seal, and you'd have fog seal, and then you'd have seal coat on it. And if we can, like I said, I don't feel at all like I have to do anything at all. That's what I want to do. I just want to put this to bed. I want to make it right for you guys. I want you guys to feel like you'll like what you got, and you can figure out other things to let it bother you. I don't want to bother you guys anymore. But I would want something in writing. We used to make something in writing that this is the agreement, this is what we'll do, and we'll move forward.
And I guess I can draft something up, just to let the residents know. This was a project that was publicly bid, and it wasn't anything in detail. We are not the city of Sioux Falls, we are not Minnehaha County. There are other places that hook on to, even the city of Brandon doesn't do their slurry seal, their own. They hook onto Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls does it all. It has all these pages and pages and pages of specifications. We did a public bid for a polymer modified slurry seal as specified type 3. We received the bid for that. The low responsible bid was ASCO, and they were paid bid a little over $132,000, and we paid them a little over $132,000.
To me, the job's accepted and done, but I'm customers' opinions and stuff do matter, and I think, especially if it's gonna go on forever. I don't want that.
So I don't know, in terms of the agreement, that you can certainly offer to do that. The township can accept it. I would want to make clear that, I'm not exactly sure what ASCO would be doing it. I don't know that that's gonna take care of the residents' concerns. We can't stop the residents from, if they don't like something, they don't like a chunk got into their ditch, a bush died. We can't stop them from saying things. We could have an agreement that you're going to seal coat the whole Hidden Valley area at no cost. And I'm not sure what the workmanship requirement is. I'm not sure how long it's supposed to last, those types of things. So I can draft something, but I'm not sure that's gonna take care of the residents, because I don't guess I do so.
Go ahead, yeah.
You referenced that when you let this out for bid, there was specs.
There's not huge specs, no.
Sure, but there was some type of specs they gave them.
It's just a
something
bid
to give them.
notice, here's a bid notice, the product we want, and the name of it.
And I'm just curious, I asked this last year too, if there was any acceptance required or acceptance criteria to accept the job, other than, yep, we put it down and payment being made, because covering up what's there with the seal coat, sure. Would that protect them more? Perhaps. It won't go anywhere to answer our original question about the integrity of the road and the integrity of the product that was put down. I asked you last week if you would consider getting an independent assessment done by an engineering firm to see if if the stuff is up to standards.
And I had a meeting with the county.
Okay.
Me and Jacob went through the whole thing, and it's done. The ride may not be as smooth, but it is protecting the asphalt. It is covered over to protect the asphalt. So I went with Jacob, who is the county, head of the county, and I believe they got a bid this year from Did they get your bid?
Yeah, we're doing the Minnehaha County job this year.
Yeah, so I mean, if he thought it wasn't feasible, he would have said something too, but I'm just saying, we did go outside.
What
did check.
You told us last time you went out there before the meeting.
Me and Kevin did, yes.
I mean, I've got numerous pictures here.
Yeah.
And I would say that I don't know, at least on Hidden Valley, where they did meet any specs, including the multiple page thing you guys used to have on the website about if you're dragging, you should stop until you're not dragging. I've got pictures for you that we could sit down and go through, including the piece of equipment you used that day. Do you remember where that came from? What did you use for Hidden Valley Road?
I remember where what came from.
That piece of equipment, I'm just curious.
Bird Camp.
Yeah, where did you get it?
Where did I
I got
get
a
that?
picture of it, we don't remember.
Where did I get
Yeah,
it?
you know where that piece of equipment came from?
Yeah,
Where?
I bought it from Monarch Oil.
Were they in Omaha?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. If what you've offered solves the problems that I have here, I'm all for it. I'm a little afraid that it doesn't.
How
It's
long?
holding water, the crown is gone,
The crown.
it's striped.
We didn't change, we don't change the crown. We put
Oh.
3/8 to a half inch down. How do we change a crown?
You do not have 3/8 to a half inch. That's what you're supposed to have.
What do we have
That is
now?
correct.
What do we have down?
You're supposed to have 3/8 to a half inch.
You wanna see pictures of the crown? I sent them to you before, what it looked like before. It doesn't look like that now, she's right down.
So, I guess I don't know that the offer that's made is a very generous offer, but I don't know that
So do you want me to mill the whole thing off and you can just have your road back again, the road like it was back again?
Will that do damage?
I'm gonna mill the thing, if you think we changed the crown so much or did whatever, when we're putting down by design a half inch with a box that's dragging, that you open it this much to drag a 3/8 inch rock mixed in slurry down, and we change the crown of whatever existed before.
What would be the telltale sign if you didn't put down enough? What would be the telltale sign that you didn't put enough slurry down?
The total quantity of material used matching the specified pounds per
How
square
about
yard.
the red rock coming up that was on the road before you did it?
The red
If you
rock.
can see, if you can see,
You
yeah,
can see the
you
old
can see the old
road.
road right now, after
And-
6, 8 months. I mean, that's not good, is it?
And on top of that, why did you need to do the bucket and shovel seal?
Because of the drag marks that, we had drag marks.
And now we have
And I came here and I said we would go there, we would spend time fixing
But
all
you
the.
didn't stop, we didn't talk about it. You said you were gonna come, type
You're
the two
gonna come
emails,
through
we're
the
gonna walk through the neighborhood and go what the plan was. You just went ahead with the plan. I would have told you that plan's not gonna work. Maybe if you would have stopped at that point and then done a seal coat, but I think now that bucket and shovel stuff, that's just a totally different material.
It's the same oil, it's,
But
You
how
have
can it look
hundreds
so
of- you have
different?
Hundreds of cracks, new cracks within 6 months, going the full width of the road. What happens when you have a crack? It starts at an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, you know.
do you think that what do you mean new, those cracks are from underlying cracks?
There's no, some of
That's
them are,
reflecting,
some are,
but that's not, we didn't create new cracks. Cracks happen on their own.
Not, even if you got too thick or too thin of
No matter what, that's gonna happen. We did the East 10th Street overlay just last summer, 2 inches on it. Almost already, which it can be different, depending on how the winter is.
after 8 years, we got a brand new crack. I mean,
Depending on how the winter is, sometimes it takes longer for reflective cracking to come through something, but to come through 3/8 to a half inch, I mean, are you gonna say that the paint should stop the drywall from cracking? The paint's supposed to hold the drywall together when the drywall cracks? That's what you're saying.
Are you saying the road should puddle water like it didn't do before? We've got pictures of all of it. We're not happy with we're unhappy with the quality of the workmanship, and we're not so certain that it isn't partly due to machinery as well as we talked about this at the meeting a little bit. It can be the formulation, it can be the person running it, it can be, you said all that last time we were there.
Yeah,
And I think we're seeing a lot
I've
of
been
that. It's
very
just-
open and honest, and
I
I'm
mean-
trying to stand behind and make things right.
If I showed this to everyone in this room, and you could sit there and tell me that if this was your driveway, coming up to your house, that you would pay for that job, I would be surprised if there's one person in this room that would say, I want to pay for a job that looks like that, coming up to my house. And if your offer fixes those problems, I'm all in. But what little I do know, which isn't as much as you do, I don't think it does. We got, and I'll show you these. You haven't seen my pictures.
I've seen the whole thing. I drive through the thing all the time.
We
guys.
need to
drive
them,
through it.
then I think.
That's not what most of your jobs look like, is it?
Didn't I admit that to you guys already once? Did I not come here and say
But that's
this was
what-
not, this was not what we?
Now we,
So
no,
I just, what my concern is I really appreciate your offer. I just don't want you to go to all this work of completely seal coating and we're still left with people coming in here saying X, Y, and Z. So I don't know if that takes care of the issue or not. I mean, I just don't know.
Was there a warranty on it? Do you have tools? Do you guys have tools to get this road, what we paid for, get us what we paid for? Are there tools in your tool bag? Because you negotiated the deal with him, not us.
The road was done initially and it was accepted. We bid for slurry seal and the slurry seal was accepted and paid.
Right, but.
And then the residents came in and said they're unhappy with what it looks like.
I think part of your timeline may not be correct, but I'm with all due respect, we came in with 30 people here and said, and I think you had not paid the full bill. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it, but that was my understanding at the time. And you went ahead and paid the full bill, even though you had like 30 people here from the neighborhood saying something's wrong. And what's wrong is still wrong. If you remember back to the meeting, we were told two things. We
But
were
your
told that-
supervisors accepted the
we were-
road,
well,
whether or not you agreed with that
That's what I have a
decision.
little issue with that, but
Well,
we were
but they,
told two
they
things.
accepted
let
the
me make my
road.
point. Well, they need to hear this. We were told two things that night. Relax, the color blacks will match. The shovel ready, I'm talking a quarter of a mile. Anybody wants to see the pictures, I've got them. We were told that those colors would eventually match. Lyle, who's a resident right across from me, said, no, they won't. I'm an artist. And I know they won't. And they didn't. They didn't match. They also told us that with the heat of the summer, it would all get rolled out from driving on it and be nice and smooth. No, it's not. It's not. It's holding water. It's got cracks. It's not smooth. It's horribly ugly. And I sent you a memo, Mr. Steffen,
yes, you
after
did.
that meeting that summarized all of this, right after that fall meeting. And here we are today. I still have to try to defend which none of you would pay if it was coming up to your house. So I really have a hard time understanding why we went ahead and paid for that road when 30 members tried to tell you we weren't happy. So I get it. You don't want us here. We don't want to be here. I spent half a day of my life today getting these colored copies. But you gave us no satisfaction from the meeting that we had in the fall, other than to tell us the colors would match and it was smooth out. Neither of which has happened.
So let me ask this. I think, so I texted Rich, I asked for a seal coat. He said they were gonna do a slurry seal. I didn't know the difference. I told you that before. And I think technically they're all slurry seals, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So I think part of the problem was Iverson Crossing, a lot older road than ours. Ours is 7 and 8 years old. I mean, realistically, no spider cracks hardly at all. Just some pretty much your standard cracks all the way across. Got crack sealed. I mean, ours, it should have never. Slurry's great. I mean, I wouldn't apply correctly, but I think the thing is, all it needed was the seal coat, and maybe theirs did need the slurry. And so you got caught up in doing so. I mean, you took a really nice road, and I mean, again, I'm not going to say you did it correctly because you didn't. And now we're really hamstrung because I don't even know the solution. I mean, I think like milling it off, we're still at $100,000. Now we got to go back and do what? Put an overlay on? I mean, what is the
This thing
is the solution?
is a wear course to add life to your road, to protect your road longer and increase the life of your road, so you stave off the complete replacement, humongous cost that will happen eventually. And then this will last 5 to 9 years, 7 to 9 years, and then they will do it again, because that's how you maintain roads. And this is going to wear off. This will wear off over time. It did not snow at all this winter. I wish it would have snowed a lot more because it would look a lot different right now. It didn't snow, because I know it didn't snow because I'm in snow removal, and we didn't move any snow. So I'm telling you, it is a wear course. 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 It is not an overlay.
Can
And it's gonna wear off, and it's to protect your road.
you tell
And I
me,
know that it doesn't look as good as it should have. I've said that a bunch of times. And I'm here offering a solution to make it look better and to even increase in a better way, another wear surface on it, to increase the longevity of the road. That's what I'm coming to do. And I'm telling you, it is not an overlay. It is not a new road. It is a maintenance measure to increase the life of the road. That's what it is. It's
You
maintenance.
said it earlier, 1/4 inch to 3/4, would you say 1/2 inch?
I said it's 3/8 to a half is about what you lay. And the way I can verify that is I can go back to tickets, the dates we did it, the machine prints how many pounds it puts down every day. I know the whole square yard of the whole thing, and those should match pretty close. That would mean we put down the right amount.
Have you offered something that's gonna take care of the problems that you see on Hidden Valley Road? That's the one I live on, so that's what I see
Okay.
every day. Is that gonna solve those problems? And I already said I'll sign up for it. But if you're gonna tell me that what you did to our road, that now I'm gonna live with for another 7 years till we do it again, and then another 7 years because you're gonna do another slurry seal or a seal, I'm not very happy.
I'm saying I would recommend continuing to maintain the roads, so you don't go through what Split Rock High School.
Can we make this so it looks the way it's supposed to look? I challenge people in this room to get on Google. I'm not saying you won't find it, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find a road that looked as bad as Hidden Valley when it was showing examples of poorly done slurry seals. And so I'm not a road expert, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to go and look and know what our road looked like. There's a before and after in it, and what it looks like now. I mean, I don't think one person in this room could keep a straight face and say they would pay for their driveway if it looked like X before and now it looked like Y. And you paid good money to build the road first, 20 grand in my case, $1,250 a year to maintain it, and it looks.
So is the concern the aesthetics?
It's important.
That's what is your concern? It
It's
doesn't
both.
look nice.
It's both because the aesthetics are horrible. I mean, I didn't know I was paying for a shovel job for 1/4 mile on the road that I paid 20 grand for. And Belial paid another 10 because he's got one lot. So we paid 30 grand for just our little road there. It's not just the aesthetics, and it said that in the memo that I sent to Rich last fall. There was 2 issues. It was aesthetics and durability. I'm concerned about both, and more concerned than I ever was even last fall. Because now we're seeing, A, the colors didn't match. B, it didn't get driven on and smoothed out. And C, we're seeing all kinds of cracks. There's all kinds of ridges. It pools water. Come out on a rainy day and see how much water is. I got videos. I can't do videos here without having.
Because if your concerns are aesthetics and
And
durability.
Yes.
But now you're saying
And what we
pooling
paid
of
for.
water, I want to make clear that I don't think what he's offering to do is going to take care of the pooling of water, is
What's
it?
the durability concern?
And the durability, I don't even understand either
all the
because,
pock marks and all the water, all the water
Yeah.
What's the word I can never remember?
You know where,
rattling.
remember where
Rabbit.
that car was
Round
on the
holes.
road? Right there,
Yeah.
in front of our house. There's a lot of, mostly hand patching,
Hand work.
and it's not level. And we have a sprinkler system up to the road, so we see the water pooling when it rains, and it just doesn't evaporate when it rains there, it's just there.
Well, the operative word,
It's not level there.
the operative word in anything, seal coat slurry seal, is seal. And the road, you can see the pink rock, so that means right there, it's not seal.
I'm agree.
What color do you think the rock was we put down?
I can show you. right
Well,
there.
hey,
Here's what
why wouldn't it all
here's
be
what it
pink?
used to look
Why
like.
wouldn't it all be pink?
The rock we put down is pink. It's the same rock that gets,
Well, here it is.
it's rock.
This
It's
was
pink.
it was a nice cul-de-sac. It was perfectly good.
Like
Now it looks
the
like.
picture, I know what
It's just-
asphalt looks like. It's my whole living. I know what paved asphalt looks like.
Okay, thank you.
And I know what slurry seal looks
Is
like.
it gonna solve my problem?
So let me ask
I
this.
don't care about the before pictures. I know what asphalt looks like, and I know what it looks like when it gets older. I know all that. And
County-
the rocks are they're pink rocks in asphalt mix, and they're pink rocks in slurry mix. So the notion that the rocks from the road from before are coming up through, prove that to me because they're both pink rocks. They're both pink. All the rock in the mix around here is pink.
That's one of a multi-layer.
So you didn't mix it well enough?
The
Because some of
machine
it's not
mixes
pink.
it.
Yeah, some of it's
The machine mixes it.
Well, not a very good machine, that's not our problem.
junk in.
Now,
junk out.
now wait a minute, guys. Now, the county, Jacob was with me, and he's the one that said we would have got more snow this year the blades would have went through there and cut the little ridges down. You know how some didn't all flatten out? The blade goes through, the more you go through the blade, it flattens them out, it cuts them off. You can shake your head no, but it does. But, and that's the guy running the county. I sat with him, and I sat with his gal, an engineer, who takes care of this for the county. And when we went over to 26th Street and looked at that job, and there's cracks on that road
But you don't see any.
reflecting through.
You don't see a bucket mix shovel job.
I know
But
what you're
talk to
saying.
people. I talk to some
I
people
know exactly what
I
you're
think
saying.
what he's saying though is the engineer for Sioux Falls and the highway department superintendent sat down, they went through the roads and they expressed they don't have durability issue concerns.
Right.
That there, I assume, are aesthetic issues. And what Mr. Harmsma is offering to do, as I understand it, is at his own cost, which he doesn't have to, go in and completely seal coat the whole neighborhood. Now, is that going to take care of, the supervisors don't have evidence that the durability is bad. They have not said we want to go in and sue Harmsma or make them do anything. So I just hope the residents understand that you can have the concern, you elect them, they make the decisions. And they're not choosing to sue Harmsma. He's coming in here saying, I'm willing to do this.
Well,
But you're gonna have to redo that road sometime.
we've all talked to people. I talked to somebody really close to here that handles the road work. It says when they do slurry seal, this was unsolicited by me. He knows nothing about it because I did not slander you. You saying I've slandered you? Because I am
I'm
not
not saying
slandering you.
any person
didn't mention any
specifically, I
names.
just, trust me, I've
I
heard a
called
lot.
this person who handles the roads. It's a community close by. And it just said my name. I don't think he paid any attention to it. The first thing out of his mouth, unsolicited, because I said I wanted to talk to him about slurry seal. He goes, once we gone to that, we've never gone to anything else because people think they got a new road. It looks so nice that people think they get a new road. We got I don't think this meets specs at all. So I really would like a professional that was unbiased to come in here and tell me that this meets specs, because I don't believe it does based on the research I've done. But I mean, we've all talked to people, and I give that name to you maybe in private, but it's a person that knows slurry seal, that handles a community of roads. That was his first comment. His second comment was, when I had to be careful, I didn't want him to think I was trying to get him to be a witness for anything. So I asked him, well, how do you know if a road maybe wasn't done right? And it got to this whole discolorization thing he brought up, which I assumed was, which maybe incorrectly, that he meant the old road coming through. But I mean, you can't get on the internet and find a road that looks like ours, that they say is correctly done. I mean, I'd love to show you the videos. You can all, so I'm not saying you didn't talk to people, but this road was better off before what we've had done. And I'm not happy about it. I paid a lot of money for that road, as other people have, and here we sit. Would you like that to be your driveway? Really?
Well, I
don't like that we.
That's aesthetic, but it's
I've just been
durability
nothing but
too.
honest, and I don't like that that's what happened. I've said that from the beginning.
So if you could
And
go,
I'm
if you
trying.
could go back.
I keep trying to
Absolutely.
I'm trying to make it right.
So, I mean,
Maybe we need another
here,
slurry
my
seal
fault
with a
my
good
fault
piece of
was I didn't stop the process. Should it have been stopped? Was there really something wrong with the machine? Should the process have been stopped?
From Omaha.
I don't think there's not anything wrong with the machine. We've used that machine to put down 3 million square yards in 4 years.
Again, we all talk to people, right? It's a small
What difference does it make where I bought the machine?
Well, competitors have said that it was an old piece of scratch. It's neither here nor there. I don't need anybody to tell me that this road
We
doesn't
put
look
down,
right.
we put down 4 million square yards with
If
that
you can
machine.
make this road look like it's a new road, which it was a pretty good road before we got anything done to
Never,
it.
it's not a new road.
Well, here's what it looked like before you.
That's not new.
Whoa.
It would have with the silk coat on.
I just asked a question.
It won't. That's
So-
what I thought.
Could you do a slurry, a slurry tube, just the exact same that you did? Would that make it a little bit more better or not, or would that?
Type 2 is a finer aggregate. So yeah, it looks a little more smooth in general because it's a little bit finer of an aggregate. But like, man, I tell you what, like, I do not want to.
We don't want
I do
you
not
coming
want
mad
to
to do our road.
I don't want you. I do not want to slurry seal in your guys' neighborhood ever again. I'll never bid that neighborhood again. Even if it comes out again, I just won't do it.
Well, we're just trying to get it fixed first.
What fix?
I mean, who's a farmer here?
What's fixed?
You know when you get if you don't know what you're doing when you're disking a field, because I don't know what I'm doing. That's how it looks. I mean, there's curve and there's this pile and there's these streaks and it's not
Okay,
like a
so
farmer
the
that knows
residents
what
aren't happy with the road. The supervisors haven't said that they think anything has to be done to the road. You have the contractor coming in saying, I'm willing to do this seal coat at my own expense.
Because I'm hearing, I don't like how it looks. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how it looks.
And the seal coat is
And I
not
know
going,
the dirt, and I agree with that.
The
And I
seal
know
coat-
the durability is right.
so they don't have an engineer who says it's wrong. You guys have not presented an engineer that's wrong. They have not decided they're gonna go out and retain somebody to say that was not specs.
Has your people looked at a road after a big rain? I mean, I'd like to say, I want to have an expert come out and say that cooling water all the way up there doesn't matter. And I'd like someone to Google it and bring it to the next meeting where say cooling water on a road doesn't matter. Because it matters. That's why you put crowns on roads. Now, you claim they didn't change the crown, but we used to not have the.
Sir, it
Not every
matters
road
to
has a
you. It's
crown.
a supervisor's
You know that not
decision.
every road has a crown.
I think
Sometimes there's a
Ours
cross.
were engineered for crowns.
They,
There could be, no. I
they
mean,
need to
we-
make the decision as to what they want to do. So,
No, I'm just saying that not everything's a crown. Sometimes it's a cross road. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, if
We don't have discussion.
yeah, so
I
just.
mean, pave a lot of roads. I know that not every road has a crown.
All right,
Specs when they.
They want to go home.
we've had enough discussion on this tonight.
What do you want to do? Do the supervisors want to do anything?
I would send a letter to the residents and see what their opinion is.
Well, that's what they're doing.
That's what they're for.
So I don't know if the letter's gonna do anything.
So, okay.
In
Can I
other
ask
words,
one question? Do you think the seal coat would cover the bucket shovel look?
Yeah.
Or would it not? In your best opinion, I mean,
Well, that's important.
it is important, but what you mean, I'm just asking.
The seal coat is gonna be a uniform. We would probably squeegee it with the squeegee machine, so that would sort of drag and fill things, and then we'd probably spray coat the top coat, because spraying like looks better than the squeegee does.
You think it would improve that, get rid of that bucket shovel look?
Yeah, but I mean, we all realize that all of this stuff is wear course stuff, so it's all gonna wear back down again over time.
That's what I wanted to ask about. So part of this has been beneficial, thank you. I've come to understand that this is a wear layer, so you explained that, and it will wear off. My question is, it's not applied very evenly, because there's some really thick stuff and a lot of really thin spots. My question is, if it doesn't wear evenly, does it put the original road or the base at risk? Because you got stuff that's built up, it's probably like this thing.
Original road at risk, how, like what would?
I'm asking
Yeah.
well, okay.
Like frame
I'll give you an
I'm asking
example.
to just frame the question in a.
All right,
So,
it's not applied evenly, so there's a lot of pockets, ridges, and in some areas, the crown's affected just because it's high on the outside and it's very, was applied very thin in the middle. So if the water doesn't run off, it's not wearing evenly, is it conceivable that now that water will drain, that can possibly drain into the cracks and ruin the base of the road? Those are the things that I'm concerned of. So if you're telling me that this is a wear layer, it's gonna wear off, I can buy that, I accept that, that makes sense. But if it doesn't wear evenly, is there something you should do to remedy that? It was brought up about a second going over the top of the smaller granule slurry. Would that even things out? Would it fill the all the depressions, the scrape marks? And,
I mean,
The seal coat do that.
yeah, this bolt would theoretically, right? I mean, done the right way, right?
What in those cases where there's really bigger pockets, I mean, is there any way to, so you don't have that dip?
I mean, you probably can't deal with that application.
I mean, with all due respect, I did think that we spent a bunch of time trying to fill that stuff, right? So if there's still some, I mean, I thought we did try to go out and spend a bunch of time filling all that stuff. So if there's still some,
There's a lot of open pockets.
What-
on the
I mean-
original road is
I mean,
showing
I
through.
don't know that right
There's
there.
many of those.
Those are tire scuffs from it, right?
No, I'm sorry, I might have had my finger over the spot. No, I'm talking about these little hockey puck size, sometimes oblong,
Bigger, yeah.
and sometimes
Like
bigger.
it peeled off.
They are all over the place.
And the original road is exposed.
And it's, what do you call it?
Rattling.
Thank you, rattling. Is that rattling or not? Is that subsurface that's coming through in those pockets? Because it's loose gravel. There are more pictures than just
This
that.
picture right here, is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, flip the papers around. There seem like a lot of them are more round.
Yeah, so like those, when we were there first, and we were there, and sometimes after it was over, people turned their tires on it in the first couple days, and it can do that, and then we tried to fill them in again. You're never gonna keep one of the good things about Slurry Seal is it's open to traffic sooner than other things. Like if I do the seal coat thing, we're gonna have to keep people entirely off of it for probably a whole day. But that doesn't mean that people don't still go on it and spin their wheels stationary, or the Amazon delivery guy comes and doesn't care, or I know the garbage truck people came through it. My guys tried to stop them and they came right through it. And then we tried to go back and fix those spots by hand over the roll while we're still there, like.
Hey, Travis, if we wait till next meeting to make the decision, all right, is that option still open?
Yeah, man,
Let's just table it for now.
it's not an old.
You guys go back to your
leaving.
group and see what if that will suffice. And we'll go from there.
I mean, have you done something similar we could look at? I mean, probably have.
Seal coat?
No, I mean, seal coat over something.
No, and I might patent this as a new surface treatment, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it just, so, because we don't want to get at the end of it and we still don't like it. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened with the Ghost Seal. It really didn't. Whatever it was.
So you guys salt that road, you sand that in the winter when it's icy, when it's slick, you go into that development and spread.
We do the edges on that curve going down your road, where they hit the sign a couple times. We've hit that one, yes.
So just small parts of it?
Yeah, we don't do the whole thing. Most of the time, what we done this winter was just hills and stop signs and curves. We've lost 2 signs in there already, so.
Now that you brought that up,
Oh,
now that you brought that up, that speed limit sign, just move it up the road about 20 feet. It's the way you come in from the west and you turn it in, takes it out every time. No, it's not. It isn't.
all right.
Yeah, I didn't come to say, tell me this, that you agree to this right now or not. I wanted to tell you, that's what I'm willing to do, and I didn't expect it to.
My concern is you go and do that and it doesn't take care of the concerns and we're back right here.
We
as you
went
did
for
all
the
this
right
work.
fix to make this look like what we paid for, that's all. And it doesn't right now.
The township paid to have it slurry sealed, and it got slurry sealed. And you don't like what it looks like, they believe it meets specifications. He's coming in and offering to do this. That's where we're at.
So we'll bring it up, we'll put it on the agenda for next meeting again. It's only a couple weeks away.
Do I need to come to that one again? You guys want me to?
I don't, well, we'll fire you a question.
I mean, I will, but.
Do you have a better solution than that? Is there something else you could do? Even if we had to kick something in on it? I mean, is there anything that we could be assured? I mean, I'm hearing you, but I'm not necessarily hearing the confidence that I want to hear that this is gonna be it.
I mean, we all can understand and realize that nothing's actually gonna change this wear course that's on there right now existing. Like, nothing's gonna change that. We're gonna put something on top of it again, right, is what we're talking about. Whether I slurry seal it again, or we seal coat it again, or we chip seal it again, it's just gonna be another thing on top of that, right? I mean, we all understand that.
Well, but the pooling means that there's obviously some dips, right?
Right, so
Can we
those
get-
would get
Can we
filled.
get that filled and have it be not pooling water everywhere and
I mean,
look
that's
like a bucket job?
Yeah, and I think if we took the squeegee machine with the seal coat, because seal coat is emulsion and fine sand, and that would fill some things
So
like
you think it
that.
would look better? You think it would be better all around? It would look better? It wouldn't look like it does now?
For sure,
That's all
For
I'm
sure,
asking.
I think it would look better. That's why, that's what I'm saying. I think that the aesthetic thing is the most displeasing thing to everybody, honestly. And yes, I'm saying seal coat, because, when Daryl, have you ever had Pizza Ranch seal coated? It looks like beautiful right after that, right?
So, I mean, the other part, and I think the thing is why we're addressing this now is if it gets too much further down the road, it's way gone. But I mean, we don't know what the future looks like when the water doesn't sheet off like it did. But these are our legitimate concerns. And again, I've talked to enough people, they said sun's number one, water's number two, freeze cold, freeze hot, that's 3, and 4 heavy traffic. It's 4. Well, we don't have a ton of heavy traffic. So it's the number 2 concern. Obviously, you kind of addressed number 1, the sun's out of it, so that's helped. But if what we traded for that is some inconsistency in how the water sheets off, because it doesn't sheet off the same. It dwells on the road where, and I got the pictures to prove it, So I'm not convinced that this is totally going to fix it. Then we probably aren't going to get back to where we were. But is it going to make it? Can you massage that to also make that a little better in the seal coat process?
Like, is there honestly, is there kind of a specific area that this is happening more? Like isolated that I could maybe just do something more invasive about in general,
Well, I mean,
like
even
mill and
if I-
overlay it or something, I don't know.
Intersections or all cross intersections.
Yeah.
I'm not charity and not free everything. I want the customer to be happy. You guys are tough customers. Congrats,
Well, I don't think we really are.
But it's okay. It's okay to be, when you're not happy, it's okay to be tough.
I mean, I think.
I think, yeah, it for sure will do that. I mean, it will look a lot better. But like I said, there's layers of wear courses being, we got the slurry seal and the fog seal, and then we seal coat, and the handwork stuff too. It's all different stuff, and it's all there. Nothing, we're not changing any of that by principle, right? It's still there. It's wearing, and it's gonna
Do you
wear.
have some way to like laser to show, I mean, any way to like, let's say, because I know the engineer, whoever did it, well, he had all the specs for what the first 3 phases were for sure. So we know what that road was supposed to look like, 22 feet, it was crowned, you could have probably shown that on a laser perfectly, where it was sheeted out almost perfectly. So some of that's gone. I mean, do you have a way to do that with technology to help where the spots are? I just question. I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff all exists.
Travis, how thick is this, Travis?
What?
You could maybe do something extra in the end of these
I mean,
intersections and maybe that really bad stretches, well, actually all Hidden Valley's pretty good. Road end.
Travis, how thick you lay it down now?
The slurry seal
Yeah.
should be like 3/8 to a half.
So that would be that'd be a leveling too, though,
So
wouldn't it?
if the crown was 2% like generally is made, and you have, what's the road width?
22.
No, 28. 22 is the width of these roads?
22, I think is most of
Okay.
them.
So quick math here, right? 2%. To have, so at the outer part from the crown, if it was a 2% crown, and you're saying we made the crown disappear, that would mean that they laid 2 5/8 inch thick.
Well, it's not like what I'm saying is,
That's the math.
It's, because because there's a dip in the middle. You've got it raised up a little on the edge, because the water sheets straight down the road, like coming down the big hill.
Right, so if
It
there's,
doesn't sheet off anymore, it sheets down the road.
but if there's a dip, so if there's a dip in the middle, that's what the only way you can make a dip in the middle is if you raise the outside.
Not in the middle,
on
like with the, in between, here's your middle, it's right down, it's driving lane, so it's almost like, unless that got flattened out, it didn't happen right away. So I mean,
Like, cause if, you know what I mean, if they would laid 2 5/8 inch, I'd have lost my ass on way extra.
but I mean, it doesn't take much, it doesn't take much. Obviously, the water used to just completely sheet off as fast as it could go. Now it doesn't, so. All right, I'm tired.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. Yeah, right.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Trav.
Tell me what I can do, I'm trying.
I'd like to say every, so that you do seal coat, you wouldn't know our names.
Okay, new business. Elected officials updates. Pam, you got anything?
Just a public service announcement, it was in the news today, but there's a ban burn, went into effect today for Minnehaha County. So that, and that's all I have.
Okay. Huh?
As a fireman, I'd like to double that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, or make it rain.
Or make it rain.
Rain, yeah.
Hopefully Saturday.
Just to update, 26th and 6 Mile Road, they have a they have a flashing light. Now it's stoplights.
Stoplights.
On the way over, somebody went straight through it, so be careful.
Yeah.
Same with Madison and
Yep.
6 Mile.
That's it.
The boys now are going out discing, trying to pull back some of the gravel in the ditches. They got half of McCarty to do yet and Spook Roads, 264th to do yet. But they're saying you get a lot of gravel. Reclaimer. They put the speed signs up. Of course, Kevin will do that one.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Once you're done, I'll tell you.
Okay. Other than that, that's all I got.
So we're planning on putting the speed signs. I got all the batteries in them. I got them setting in there. We have to change one to 25 because we're assuming that it's gonna go on Pine Lake Hills, Mystic, and Split Rock Ice, what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, and then, was you gonna think about putting the speed bumps in? I don't have nothing to do with that, but you'd have to kind of figure out when you're gonna do that.
We gotta mark where we want them and then put them in.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna have to do that.
Was that in Pine Lake Hills and
Mystic and.
Mystic
Yeah,
and
so
what
we bought,
places? Yep.
I purchased, got them all purchased, they're all over there, the speed bumps. You guys just gotta decide where you want them and stuff on there. Cause I bought, like you said. The other thing is that somebody needs to fill out, City of Sioux Falls for the water hydrant for dust control. This is the time of the year that we do that. Somebody want Troy to do that, or he has to do a check, I get a check for $1,500. I did move 50,000 from the checking account into CDs, and then, I got another CD coming in April, and I'll do an assessment if I need to move back, but then Lisa gets 50,000 more, giving us interest and stuff in there. And then, we had the residents concerned about Riverview. They got it up there where that they have the sign where the Riverview barn is. It's 30. We have all our roads at 35. So Riverview is 35. We have no speed signs on that. The only sign is the one that the City of Sioux Falls put up on, their portion that they took. And then 41st Street is 30. We dropped that one down to 30. So I think in time here, you have to decide if you want to keep that 35 or drop that down to 30, or put up a sign, at 35. 35. That's over there by there's no signs. And then I was going to look, I forgot to look, but there's that curve. I don't know if we have the delineator signs on the curve. I was going to go back there. Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, they're there, so.
Isn't that city anyway?
No, city's only got the first four.
The blacktop, well, the blacktop is.
No, but I thought last year or year before, it decided that the whole river, that whole section was the
No.
city, and then you guys agreed to plow it.
No,
No,
they do that, where the blacktop is there.
Yeah.
We plow that because we gotta come out to the road anyway. We should be going down to the arboretum, I can't even say it, the park down there, with the trees. Yeah. And instead of us going down there, they do that because park's there anyway.
Okay.
So we did a swap.
and then Riverview is a federal assist road. No? Riverview and 41st. But I just kind of brought it up to your attention to kind of think about it, what you want to do. We don't have, when I went down there and there is no speed sign on that. Besides that 30, so it wouldn't be unenforceable. I don't think.
And the speed bumps, we're trying to deter people from cutting through. When they shut this road down tomorrow or next day, it's gonna push it over to Split Rock Heights. Just be glad you guys don't have that to deal with.
So so I went to do the speed signs there, get them all ready. And Troy told me, he said that there was more people going through Split Rock Heights. And I kind of agree. I was only there for about 45 minutes, but people were kind of looky-looing to see how they were gonna go through there, so I think that we do need to kind of take a look at speed bumps and the sign.
You know yourself, Madison's gonna get a lot busier too.
Are they gonna drop the speed limit on Madison, or is it gonna stay at 50?
That'd be the county.
When you talked about speed bumps and the signs that we put out, so that, do you have an idea where you're gonna put speed bumps?
Well,
So we don't put a speed bump next to the sign?
right. We'll talk to we're talking to, from Split Rock Heights.
Yeah, I'm
See where-
gonna try to talk with Greg Johnson about where to put the street signing or the traffic flow, but you guys gotta kind of figure out
Yeah,
where you want the speed bumps, if we should put them.
cause there's two ways they can go up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could all put them all the way back here to the, the gravel and stuff too, I don't know. I don't know but I was gonna talk to, like I said, Greg Johnson tomorrow, cause I don't know the flow of traffic.
Rich, if
And
you need
Split
on
Rock
Mystic,
Heights.
you could talk to my son Andy and just see where he thinks.
I figured Andy would be a
Yeah,
good
he
one
probably
for
would know.
Split Rock Heights and,
Yeah.
yeah, the other ones we know.
Yeah, Pine Lake you have.
I think they'll
but
get 'em
the other
before.
two are new.
Yeah, finally, I plan on putting them right where we had before.
Yep.
It was pretty easy that you just put it there by the lake and then you just flip it around, go one way and go the other way. Okay, as long as people tell us when they flip it, flip it so we know the direction of traffic, but, same way at Mystic Meadows I was gonna put it right where that, kind of waterway, I don't know if it's a culvert or bridge, but that seems like to be a good spot out of the way.
Okay.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay, public comments?
Back to Kevin. So Kevin, do we have speed limit signs on 41st Street coming down to Riverview?
Yeah,
And, but
on
where we're
41st
lacking,
Street, but not on River, we didn't have any on Riverview.
where we're lacking is on Riverview. There's
Yeah.
only one, and it's on this end with the wedding mark.
Yeah, and that's 30.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of with his train of thought. It might be a good idea to get him. Because if they miss it, a lot of times people don't see that first speed limit sign, and the flow is gonna increase on that road. I just think as narrow as that road is, I'm gonna quit talking, but I'm with Kevin, look into that. What I'm thinking is injury accident stuff, and so it might not hurt if it makes sense to.
So take it down to 30 at least, I would guess. So that's what I would say,
That's all I got.
Dick? You guys all okay? All right. Motion to pay bills. DGR Engineering, $12,661. Running supply, $76. Grand total of $12,737.22. Do I have a motion to?
I make a motion to pay bills as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're not going to executive session this time. We have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Next meeting is, April 8th.
I will read it.